Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Sunday to you all. Hopefully, your weekends are going nicely. Or if you're watching this at any other point in the week, hopefully having a great day nonetheless. We continue once again with the on and off discography deep dive that we are doing every single Sunday here on the channel. And it's kind of my way to plot my very consistent free fall into Fuse territory. So, this week we have, well, I said this last week, but it didn't end up being the case. One of probably one of my least knowledgeable eras in terms of on and off music, the spin-off era, with Sukhumvit Swimming, Geppetto I heard live in Nagoya, but everything else should be new to me. And I'm very much looking forward to it, because much like it was last week, kind of going into it not knowing a whole lot makes the listening experience quite interesting. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna send it. There is a couple of admin things. This album, track number 7 on this album, technically is the spin-off version of New World, their song for Road to Kingdom. We are gonna put that one off for this week and move it to whenever we do the Road to Kingdom stuff, which will probably be, I think, as soon as the week after we finish storage of On and Off, which I have back there, because we've already done Love Effect and we did Beautiful Shadow already. So once we finish storage of On and Off, we'll go through like Road to Kingdom, we'll do the special singles, and we'll do OSTs, I think in that order, because they've done, like, WM Family has done a handful of singles and stuff here and there. So I think that's what we'll do. So we'll save New World for then. We'll also watch it. We'll watch the actual, like, broadcast stage performance rather than just listen to it. And I think we'll do that for all of the Road to Kingdom performances as well, which means it'll be taken off site. But we'll figure that out when we get there. But admittedly, I have kind of seen them already. But I'm never gonna complain about watching them again. So that's what we'll do. So we're just gonna do the first 6 songs on the spin-off EP and just send it. So let's send it one time. Here we go. Another thing we're changing this week is, well, last week when we did, Y era? Gosh, how am I already forgetting what we did last week? Oh, that's not good at all. Yeah, it must have been Y, right? We're good. We're good. I'm not going entirely crazy yet. Saw many a comment about the incorrect lyric videos. I definitely forgot to pre-screen them last week. I'm usually pretty good with that. I just slipped my mind before getting stuff ready, so I took some extra time, pre-screened all the lyric videos that I could find for this entire album, and I didn't find a complete set of accurate lyric videos. So we're just gonna ditch them all together, which also means we get the MVs again. We get to watch the MV for Sukhumvit Swimming again, and we get to watch the MV for Message, the final song that we're going to be checking out today. So, there we go. It's going to make trying to identify who's singing and what they're singing just a little bit more difficult, but it's kind of like, if we're looking at it from a glass half full kind of way, it'll be a way to test my knowledge on what their voices sound like now, because I feel like I should have them down by now, but it's going to be like a test again. So we're just going to send the Sukhumvit Swimming MV again, and then just run the B-sides as is. So, track number 1, very long-winded intro today. Title track, Sukhumvit Swimming. Lyrics by Hwang Hyun, Min Kyun, and Wyatt. Composition, Hwang Hyun, Yoon Jong-sung of Mono Tree with Min Kyun, and Yoon Jong-sung and Hwang Hyun of Mono Tree on arrangement. Of course, this being on and off, I'd be surprised if there's no Mono Tree in any of these songs, so let's roll it. I also haven't listened to this song since we checked out since the title track marathon, and I'm pretty sure they performed this live as well, but This time I'm gonna pay attention to the lyrics. I love that the 1-2 combo between Wyatt and you is always a different kind of dynamic. Right? You get the 1-2 rap verses between the two on pretty much every single on and off song that has a pretty dominant rap verse, especially early on in their career. But every single time it's different, and I love that about them. That I have to pull this, like, the thumbnail image from that scene. That sequence of events is just comedy. Nope, he's back. Ishin's back with the smooth-ass vocals. There we go. And I think, for me, like, Sukhumvit Swimming is not my favorite on and off title in the world. But what's standout for me is how everything is telegraphed in a way where it's not meant to scare you, but that the next phase and the way the song changes direction has almost like an elegance to it. And I feel like it's most prominent in this kind of time period when it comes to on and off. It's super cool. I also don't know if I clocked it the first time around, but Minken kind of flying high. I think that was Minken, right? Up top on the ad-libs. Ah, yes. The member death. So I approve of the fact that they got firearm dynamics correct, because I find that a lot of times on K-pop MVs especially, whenever someone shoots a firearm, it shoots the entire bullet and the casing along with it. I know it's such a small little detail that probably not many people care about, but like, I'm not, a hardcore 2A. Well, if you live in America, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not like a hardcore Second Amendment advocate or anything like that. I just quite like wartime history, and with it comes firearms and illusions and stuff like that, which I quite like. I think it's really fascinating what they can do, and the kind of like power they hold aside and stuff. But, anyways, non sequitur. This is like one of the few K-pop MVs where they show accurate, like, weapon mechanics. So thank you MV team for that. But yeah, Sukhumvit Swimming has this almost second nature way of switching into the next phrase of the song without it really sounding like it's trying too hard, and yet having a very distinct and clear phase change between, say, the pre-chorus and chorus. You know exactly what's coming, how it's going to happen, and because of it, it sounds so clean. But that change is so drastic to me that it shouldn't feel that smooth, but it is. And that's just so fascinating to me. And I think in terms of like going from moment to moment in an on and off song, they're always really good at it. But Sukhumvit Swimming for me has left like a really high impression of that. And it's been like left one of the strongest impressions of that. And I think the fact that it is kind of, sonically very different, isn't it? As you had something, very dark and dramatic with Y before this, and then, well, after this, I guess, well, we got New World and stuff before this, technically, but, before this, in terms of title tracks, we got Y, dark, dramatic, heavy, quite big sounding, right? Next era, we're keeping that quite big sound, but it's bright. It's high energy. In fact, it's probably, I'd probably be safe to say it's their highest energy song that they've made so far. Like, Complete is a high energy song. It's Beautiful, Beautiful surpasses Complete, and it's not even close. But there is that sonic difference. It goes in the middle, but it doesn't like bridge the two together. It's in a different direction. And yet that kind of on and off sound signature they have remains consistent. And I think that's so difficult to do, but it partly comes down to the fact that the music team behind the on and off songs has been the same pretty much throughout their entire careers. And so the producers know at an intimate level how the songs connect together. And I think that's so cool to see like this. Ooh. Right. Keep it moving. Track number 2. Belle Epoque. Belle Epoque? Gosh, I always forget how to pronounce that second word. But anyways, lyrics by Hwang Hyun and inner child of Mono Tree with Wyatt. I don't know why he has an asterisk on the chart that I'm reading, but anyways, we'll figure that out later down the road. It's not most important right now. Composition Hwang Hyun and Nobody of Mono Tree, same on arrangement. This should be new to me. It's chill. It's slightly charming. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull up Genius on the second screen. Unison chorus. Cool. Now we're getting harmonies. Yeah, it's kind of cutesy and charming. Vocalist Wyatt. Okay, so I guess the kind of late night vibe makes sense, doesn't it? It's amazing how soft this song is on the ears. Because it's not an inherently, like, really calm and quiet song, and yet there's no harshness to it, which is really cool. Like, even in the percussion part, there's no really harshness to it. Everything is super mellow, and it's just... It's like, those of you who aren't lactose intolerant, you know, kind of age-old home remedy of drinking a warm glass of milk before going to bed if you can't fall asleep. It feels like that. It's really smooth. Hello, rapper Wyatt. So we get both flavors of Wyatt. And again, it's a song that doesn't have any surprises in how it progresses. It just goes. There's nothing that's hiding away. There's nothing that's meant to surprise you. It just... And we get the post-chorus again. That's like the first big like surprise that we got was that final little bit. But yeah, cool. Again, this happens, you know, every single era, but on and off, throw in a nice chill, smooth, or even like a ballad type song in the weirdest of places. And the thing is, like, a song like Sukhumvit Swimming, isn't the most like upbeat song in the world, right? So the album doesn't get off to like a high flying start, kind of like, well, kind of like say if the album started with Beautiful Beautiful, for example. So the fact that the album doesn't start off on a high energy level, and we've already gotten that kind of mellow song in the first two, is very surprising to me. But then again, this is on and off, and they don't do things by the standard formula in terms of album creation. Like, we've had, I think, 3 albums with a ballad in smack in the middle, and that's like unheard of usually. So I'm not gonna question it too much, but yeah, Belle Epoque is nice. It's extremely palatable, and I wonder if that's gonna be kind of the entire theme of this album in terms of like sound style. Is that it's going to be that more easier to digest, like nothing too out there and experimental, but still keeping it very tasteful. So we got to keep moving on because track number 3. This shouldn't be new, but I don't remember how it goes. This is Geppetto. They performed this as part of their, I've forgotten what their spotlight tour over on my side of the world in Japan about a month and almost 2 months ago. So track number 3, Geppetto, lyrics by Hwanghyun, Inner Child of Monetary with Minkyun. Composition GDLO, Hwanghyun, Inner Child Monetary with Minkyun. So, ooh, Minkyun has a lot of composition credits on this. It's cool. With GDLO on arrangement. Like, sure, the song does start a little bit abrasive in comparison to the other 2 on the album so far, but you know, once we get started, those harmonies did not come through as clean live as they do on the studio. See, even though you get that little bit of a pause in there, for me, it still feels natural. It doesn't feel like there's anything, you know, jumping out at you. And it just kind of sounds like more their digital side of stuff. I like their digital stuff, so I'm not gonna complain. I didn't realize this entire second verse is layered there. That's cool. It's so subtle, but there's a textural thing where you can feel that second voice in the background. Using Wyatt as a setup man for the song is so good. Because he slots in, like, his voice essentially is the riser equivalent vocally. Tasteful chords, hello. Straight into the bridge. That's call and response happening with the 2 synthesized and the electric guitar, super cool. And yeah, it's the whole vocal riser effect, right? Even though you have that synth riser in the background, the vocals are doing the exact same thing and mimicking that. So the vocals add to that kind of building effect, and it's so cool. You are my Geppetto. It's so tasty. The chords are so like non-pop traditional. There's a comedy sketch by Australian comedy group Axis of Awesome called the Four Chord Song. And it's essentially a mashup of like a few 50 odd something pop songs. Something. I don't actually remember how many songs they put in, but within pop music, a lot of songs, and I mean a lot of songs within the main bulk use the same four chord sequence. Whether, I mean, it could be in different keys and stuff, but if you all tune them to one consistent key, a lot of songs will use the exact same chord sequence as each other. And so essentially that four chord song sketch is them singing and playing along to a whole bunch of pop songs, but playing the exact same chords over and over and over again. What's cool about On and Off is they never feel like they have to restrict themselves to that. Like, Geppetto uses so many tasty chords in there that you normally wouldn't find in your bog standard not K-pop, just bog standard pop music. And it's just every little bit when you think one chord is gonna happen, but you get like a modified version of that. Maybe you sustain one, or you add a ninth, or add a 13th, change the bass note to the fifth above it, whatever it may be. They do little things that spice up the song, and it's like you know what? Here's your weekly food analogy for it. It's like when you have pasta, right? You have pasta bolognese, if you will. You get your pasta noodles, or your spaghetti, technically. You get your bolognese ragu on top. You get your graining of Parmigiano Reggiano, or Grana Padano, whatever you prefer. That on its own is very good. It's a tried and tested method, right? That is your four chord formula, supposedly. But then you add, say, a little bit of basil-infused olive oil, like a drizzle of that over the top. You add cracked black pepper, fresh cracked black pepper. It's tiny little details, and you're just adding something that's complementary to that, and it livens it up that one extra notch. That base formula already is wonderful. It's terrific. But you just add that one little detail, and it's different, like worlds apart different. That is what a song like Geppetto is for me. Oh. And honestly, hearing this, like, I heard this live first, right? So I didn't know how clean the studio version was. This studio version, it might be one of the cleanest On and Off songs that I've heard so far. And that's saying something. Wow. Shout out to production team on that one. Right. Let's keep her moving. Track on number 4. Good. Lyrics by Hwanghyun, Inner Child of Monotree, Minkyun, Wyatt, and Park Ji-yeon of Monotree. Again, composition, Hwanghyun and Ji-hye, with Minkyun and Wyatt. So Wyatt also on composition. Hell yeah. Arranged by Ji-hye and Hwanghyun. Cool. I've yet to pick up on like a composition style whenever the members get involved, because sometimes when you hear that a member's getting involved with the composition part of a song, after hearing them for a long time, you can start to pick up little details that they like to lean towards. I haven't picked that up with Minkyun yet. That's interesting. Wow, it's bright. But it's not a terribly quick song, all things considered. Let's see what the lyrics are like. Oh, we're getting a lot of rapper Wyatt. Hold on a second. The harmonies one time. Okay, so, like, taking a glance at the lyrics, it does look like the lyrics look kind of cutesy, and I think it shows in the music as well. It's very lighthearted. Wow. Minky kind of popped off there. Hold on a second. Go again. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, you know what? Give me more Hyojin. That's fine too. I find it really interesting how much they're layering vocals on this album. It feels like it's more than the past album we've gotten. Just in general, it almost feels like every single vocal line is getting layered with someone else, which makes spotting vocals a little bit more difficult for me. Prominent digital effects. This is also something I feel like ONNF doesn't do a whole lot, is heavily filter the vocals like this. It's not like the first time they've done it, I'm pretty sure, but they don't use it as a crutch for a lot of their intense stuff. It's like, for as much digital sounding stuff they do, they keep their voices pretty natural sounding. And the rhythm work on the top line, very playful. I'm surprised at how playful this comes across, because it's immediate, and they maintain that playfulness for quite a long time in that song. But yeah, I'm genuinely surprised at how often they layer vocals on this album, because it feels more than previous. And with Good Good, it almost felt like the entire song was layered, which is wild to me. I think the only parts that didn't feel like they were layered were like the final 4 lines in the pre-choruses. Usually with Hyojin on top line. That's crazy. Very unique. I guess maybe that's why it also plays into the playfulness of it, because it's not just like, you can have one on your own, but you can have more fun with more people, if that makes sense. Interesting. And again, the album structure for this is kind of throwing me for a loop once again, because we are going, but this is ONNF, so I shouldn't be surprised by this point, right? It's like getting a sudden mid-song genre switch from an NCT song, or what's another one? I lost my train of thought. Anyways, yeah, I still don't know sound signatures whenever like Minkyun's on a composition credit or not, but rapper Minkyun kind of hitting a little bit different on Good Good. Admittedly, I could be wrong on when Minkyun was rapping, but that's besides the point. Actually, that is kind of the point. If I'm completely misreading Minkyun's verse as, I don't know, someone like you, then yeah, that's a big yikes from me. I still have a long ways to go in terms of learning, but cool. Because, like, for me, I got to know Minkyun through that very treble-loaded voice of his, right? And since my ONNF knowledge was very limited going into this whole kind of deep dive era, the only way I knew it was Minkyun was that distinctly high treble-loaded singing voice. So every time we get like proper rapper Minkyun, it's always a little bit exciting for me. It's like, oh, ooh, new person. It's like singing Wyatt, which I feel like we're also getting a good chunk of this album. Oh, I'm on the wrong window. Right, track number 5, Cactus. Credits across the board. Hwang Kim. Makes my life easy. Here we go.
너와의 사랑은 처음이었으니
Ballad?
우리 모든 건 늘 새로웠고 너와 헤어지는 것도 처음이니까 우린 모든 게 서툴기만 해
It's very pretty.
쳐다볼수록 시려서 그만 눈물을 닦고 안녕 돌아서야 해 다만 하나만 딱 하나만
No additional instruments. They're keeping that clean electric guitar.
간직할게 다른 사람이 한때 너를 무척 많이 정말 많이 사랑했다는 걸
There's the other instruments coming in. Wow, what a lyric. You and I like a cactus only hurt the more we hug. What a line. I just clocked that. Damn. Like, now that I look at the lyrics though, there is a little bit of lingering sadness in this, is there? It's very subtle, it's very far back, but it's not a happy song by any means. It's very pretty though. Get tasty with it. This is like a campfire song, because you don't need any other instruments apart from one guitar, right? Right as I say, we get more instruments. Nice! I love that run. And then we get Wyatt coming in alongside an electric bass. Oh, we're getting the guitar getting a little bit of movement now. Oh! Oh! Do not end it on the minor. Was that the minor 7 to finish? Oh my, that's so pretty. Oh, I love the suspense at the end there. Wow. Okay, Cactus as a ballad, top tier. Very good. And the thing is, it's not like a languishing, like heavy, emotional ballad. I mean, the lyrics are not the happiest thing in the world, but the thing about Cactus is it's slow and it's emotional, but it's maybe this might be the wrong word I'm using here, but it's surprisingly supple. Like, it's very neutral in terms of like the immediate emotional aspect of it, just musically. It's you know, the theme of the lyrics are not inherently happy, but the song doesn't sound dark and depressing. It's not bright and happy either. It's very neutral. And yet you can feel the honest human emotion as you're listening to it, and I think that's terrific. It's also so soft. It's so soft on the ears. Like, this is beyond the point of it being just easily palatable. It's so soft. It's almost like cautiously soft. To the point where it's like, I can't do any more than this without risk of like hurting you even more type of softness. That's crazy. Especially with a group that's got pretty piercingly powerful vocals. Like Kyojin's vocal, I mean, he can sing soft, but it's got a naturally pretty piercing tone. Same with Minkyun, especially once it gets into that higher tone. And Wyatt with all that bass just naturally will pierce you, just because the way his voice reverberates is at a different frequency because he's singing at a lower pace, lower pitch, yada yada yada. There's the whole kind of science study of like sound waves and stuff. Took it 1 year in college. Don't remember a whole lot from it, but you know, we'll use those three for example. These three like candidates, shall we call them? Naturally, their voices will cut through the music. Even on a very digital heavy song that On and Off are capable of doing, their voices will pierce through pretty clearly. And yet on Cactus is so soft and so gentle that it's almost like the counter to what the lyrics mean. And that's super cool. I love the little detail like that. Wow. And one final one. We get an MV for this one, which is terrific. The gift film for track number 6, Message, lyrics by Hwanghyun, Minkyun, and Wyatt, with Hwanghyun on composition and arrangements. No lyrics, but that's okay. See if I can find them online. No, that's fine. I was about to say something, but I was rudely interrupted by the glorious harmonies. The song feels very cozy, though. Kyojin with the glasses, look, I approve. This is another composition thing. Get out of town, Wyatt! Oh, he is singing to my soul. Oh. I don't mean to be over dramatic, but this might be the best they've sounded. That's crazy to think about. And another thing that I was going to say earlier, you're getting all this really tasty vocal, right? But the instrumental section is actually quite punchy. Like, it's a firm synthesizer part, but it's so soft. I'm never gonna get tired of their vocals, man. Oh, gravelly Minkyun is different gravy. Oh, Wyatt is like speaking to my soul and then some. I feel like I haven't mentioned you at all today, but Sungjun's like really, really high tone has such a nice thinness to it. Wow. I kind of want to go again. That was so good. Hello. Off rip, this might come as a shock, but in terms of the albums that we've fully deep dived so far, Spinoff might be my favorite. I did not think I would be saying that, but Spinoff might be my favorite album that they've done, like, up until this point in their discography. Admittedly, you know, Beautiful Shadow and Love Effect and stuff I'm very familiar with because we checked them out when they dropped. But in this, like, through their early discography, this might take the cake so far. That's crazy. It's like when I was doing the From Us albums, and My Little Society just came out of nowhere and ended up being my favorite From Us album. It's like that all over again. I'm sure it's kind of similar time frames too, isn't it? Hey, hold on. When did the spin-off album drop? I'm getting distracted now, but bear with me for a second. Spin-off dropped August. From Us, My Little Society dropped. When did this drop? September of 2020. Okay, so roughly the same time period. Man, the music world had some fire albums this time of period, eh? First summer during COVID, and they just dropped bangers. Message is genuinely so pretty. And you know what? Because it's my channel and I can do what I want. Okay, maybe not. We'll go again. Because I do want to talk through, like, I kind of want to treat this like an MV on its own. And just kind of go through it in section by section. And I'm gonna, like, pause through it.
약속의 메시지를 남기고 싶어 사랑하게 될 거란 나의 주문이 현실이 돼.
The vocal pairings in this first verse are unbelievable. They're so well put together. And it's like, I mentioned this, I don't know how many albums ago, but you have like a kind of XY chart in terms of vocal color. If you're looking at their, like, richness of their voice and their vocal range, it's almost like you're going down the line with this, and every single pairing just feels connected so well. Probably the maybe the best I've heard so far.
왜 네가 좋은 걸까 더 이상 그런 생각은 안 해
It also kind of listens like a ballad a little bit.
네가 없이 무엇도 완벽할 수 없는 게 나니까 내 숨이 닿는 거리
And it's like, as soon as you get harmonies involved, it's all over the place in harmonies. But also, this instrumental section is very good. It's so simple, but it provides just the right amount of backbone for all the vocals to fit on top. It's so well put together. And then verse 2 is crazy.
한순간 꿈이 아니 지금 너의 현실을 함께
Bruh. My man is one of the most wedge-built, just like wham idols I've ever seen in person, with one of the deepest voices. And I know he very much puts off kind of fairy princess vibes a lot of times on their variety and reality stuff. Well, where did this come from? Yeah, it's so pretty. It's his vocal is...
한순간 꿈이 아니
Oh,
지금 너의 현실을
it's so warm. And it's so light. And again, the pairing is impeccable. High voice Wyatt into really gentle you is terrific.
느껴지던 너의 진심이야 내 숨이 닿는 거리 너와 눈을 맞추고 내렸던 너의 날들
And the harmonies are so confident too. They're not shying away from it, and it's evident in how they're doing the vocals. They're not afraid of this. Weirdly, this harmony, like all the harmonies, but especially in the chorus for Message, it's, the genre of the song and the execution is entirely different, but the way the harmonies are put together kind of reminds me of End of the Road by Boyz II Men. Like, stylistically, they're worlds apart from each other, but for some reason, my brain is wanting to put those two together. I don't know why. And the fact that we got different members doing the high tone there, too. This is so important. This is so important. The fact, well, we're getting a lot of close-ups of Wyatt today, aren't we? But the fact that the bridge on a typical pop song, usually we would continue that rise upwards after the second chorus, or drop it down. What they've done is they've kind of kept that level consistent, but they've dropped the octave a couple. It feels like a couple. It might be one. It might be two, actually. But the fact that the song remains pretty high vocally all throughout, except for here. And when we get it, it's the one person you'd expect to do it. And, maybe fuses who've been around for this time and knew about them from this time probably wouldn't have blinked or batted an eye at the fact that it's Minkyun partnering Wyatt here. But for me, again, who learned on and off and learned about Minkyun through high voice Minkyun, this is a very pleasant surprise for me. And the fact that it just gets lower and lower is crazy. Did we ever find out what they're typing on the typewriter? Like, what the message is? That's... part of my language, that's fucking fantastic. Yeah. No, hand on heart, I can say this might be my favorite on and off album they've done. And with how highly I rated that Love Effect album, and how highly I rated Beautiful Shadow, that's saying something. Like, genuinely. This spin-off album might be my favorite. It's so good. And it's not just the fact that the music is good. The quality of everything is so nice. You get a nice variety of everything, but everything is put together so perfectly. It's not just like the composition side of things. Like the way the vocals are balanced, the way the songs progress, the way the instrumental sections are put together, the way they're balanced with the vocals, the way the vocals are interspersed throughout the song, the way they're paired together. Everything about this album is done flawlessly. And like, they've been doing a top tier job of that up until this point, but this for me is standout, different levels. And the fact that, at the beginning I was saying this is probably my most unfamiliar era in terms of music. Yeah, this is exactly like From Us All Over Again. The entire album, an era with My Little Society. I'm pretty sure that was Feel Good, I think. Oh, now I need to check because I don't want to get my facts wrong, but My Little Society is Feel Good. Feel Good Secret Code. Has some of my favorite B-sides on that album. It was the era that I knew the least about back in the day. Jumped into it, became my favorite album. On and Off's spin-off album. Probably knew the least about it. I barely knew Sukhumvit Swimming. And I heard Geppetto live once. That's it. Everything else is completely new. And became my favorite album. What is happening, man? What was in the water in like August and September of that year and all the music that dropped. Like, wow. I'm impressed. And I know this ended up being a very long-winded album listen, considering it's only a 6-song album. But honestly, I don't care. It's so good. I had so much fun doing it, and it's yeah, this is terrific. This is genuinely wow. That's going on the playlist immediately. But in terms of last-minute admin stuff, so we've just finished spin-off. In terms of next releases, it would have been a WM family release titled Hours. We'll do that at a later date. We have an OST in here as well, which we will do at a later date. Which takes us to the first, and I believe, if you don't count for the repackage, the first of 2 studio-length albums that we get from On and Off. Because On and Off My Name is up next, featuring songs like Beautiful, Beautiful, My Name Is. We have unit songs, which is very exciting indeed. And then, well, so in terms of future album listens moving forward, we'll do On and Off My Name. And then once we get to the repackage with City of On and Off, we'll do the 3 new songs on the album. So we'll do Ugly Dance, we'll do My Genesis Supermensch, and we'll do The Dreamer. Yeah, so we'll do those 3, and that'll be it for that week. Which will take us to Popping. We get to relive the Popping trauma once again. We get Goosebumps. And then we have Storage of On and Off, which will be the last album we listen to. Because that's a 10-song album, but it's kind of like 2 mini albums put together, right? It's kind of like 80s' Fever Epilogue, where you get your 5 new songs, your song through my song. That's a cool way to go through an album. But then you get remasters of previous kind of fan favorites. Like I see 86,400 is back to Haunt My Dreams again. And we get the 6-member versions of a few title tracks and stuff. But what we'll do is we'll go through the new songs then. And when we have the remastered stuff, we'll crack this sucker open. Because I haven't opened this yet. I'm going to wait to open this until we get to that album. So we'll kind of throw in an unboxing in there as well when we get there. But oof, that is going to be it from me today. Thank you all for dealing with all of my rambling this week. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. One last request from me today. Let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world. Whether it be checking in with your friends and family, holding the door open for somebody, or even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day today. And know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life, for whatever reason it may be, even though I'm just some guy in there who waffles about music in his free time, know that I'll always be a friend, ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!